Baseball family, welcome to your source for the 2022 MLB playoffs with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Briggy Blue Eyes. Will Clayton Kershaw have his long-awaited playoff moment, or will Houston continue to dominate the opposition? Will this be the year of the underdog in Seattle or in Philly, or will the Atlanta Braves be the 8th franchise in history to have repeat championships? Thank you for joining us live as we watch history in the making. And now, baseball together. What's shaking, baseball family? We are here. We are happy. We are hopping and popping. And it's all because baseball playoffs are here. Brad, how are you tonight?
It's my last day of solace, Brig. Tomorrow, everything is going to be so stressful. Yeah. I was super relaxed today. I was super relaxed yesterday watching a baseball game that I was like, I'd like the Mariners to get to 90 wins, but if they don't, it doesn't matter. Nothing's affected by it. It's the most relaxed I've been watching baseball in months. And awesome. It's all going to go away in about 10 hours, something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You got a little less than 10 hours, 12 hours left or whatever. Baseball family, this is a special format we've got going on for the playoffs. We are going to be going live for the big show Monday nights and again on Thursday nights as we've been doing the remainder of the season previous. So go ahead and jump in. Let us know that you're here. If you're listening Tuesday morning, we're sorry we missed you, but we're still going to bring you the same great content and great dialogue and commentary that we endeavor to bring you every single week on the big show throughout the rest of the year. So, as we say, there's a lot to get into, and that's true. However, this week was really, really thin on news. It seems like everybody wants to talk power rankings. Everybody wants to talk matchups and different things like that, which is great because that's all we care about too. So whatever news is happening, I'm sure will be released to the public later, and we will bring that to you as soon as we know. But right now, Brad, it's time for our playoff primer. Don't you think? Playoff primer. Baseball family.
I do think it's time for the playoff primer break.
Yeah. If you don't know, Bradley, we literally waits all year to play that. Now he's gotten a chance to do it twice. So very excited for you, Brad. Okay, let's get into this, man. Let's hop and pop. First thing, let's break down the playoff bracket coming up this year. It's expanded. We've gotten into that a lot. But let's show the people watching and explain to those listening what's actually happening. So why don't you describe the American League and I'll describe the National League?
Okay, that sounds good. So we've talked about expanded playoffs, right? So typically what we're used to is 4 playoff teams in each league, right? 3 division winners, 1 wild card. But this year we have 3 wild card teams. We have our 3 division winners, 3 wild cards, 6 in each league, 12 total. I'm very excited about this because I love expanded playoffs. Now let's get into the American League real quick. So your number 1 seed, you have the Houston Astros. Your number 2 seed is your New York Yankees. Both teams have a bye, will not play anybody this weekend. They'll be sitting at home watching on their televisions, waiting to see who will be playing them next week. In your first bracket, you have the Blue Jays as the 4 seed, the Seattle Mariners as the 5th seed. They'll play all 3 games in Toronto. And then for your second part of the bracket, I guess, for the wild card, you've got the Cleveland Guardians, who won the American League Central, but they will be playing the Tampa Bay Rays. All 3 of those games will be in Cleveland, and that there's some incentive there, obviously, to win your division because you get home field for all 3 games if you win your division, even if you don't have the best record of the division winners. So I still feel like they put emphasis on winning your division there, and I love it. It's fantastic because the Rays had a better record, and they still do not get a home game because they didn't win their division.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yeah, I agree with you. I love the fact that there's an incentive to win the division, and I think that this expanded playoff format has made that possible. So
yeah.
Okay, in the National League, number 1 and number 2 seeds are your LA Dodgers and your Atlanta Braves. They're in that order. 1 is LA, 2 is Atlanta. Those 2 teams get a bye, as Brad said. 3 through 6 are as follows. Number 3, St. Louis Cardinals. Number 4, New York Mets. Number 5, San Diego Padres. And the number 6 seed is your Philadelphia Phillies, the Fighting Phils. So what we're going to see is the Phillies play the Cardinals. That's going to be in St. Louis. 3 games starting October 7th. That is tomorrow for those of you watching live with us right now, and this afternoon it'll start for those of you listening in the morning. First game is at 2 p.m. in St. Louis. The other side of that wild card will be San Diego playing in New York. They're going to play the Mets. It's all at it's all in New York. First game tomorrow, 8:07 p.m. So, and that'll be on ESPN. The first game is on ABC in St. Louis. So those are your National League games. And then the winner of those 2 series, get best of 3 series, are going to go on to play LA between the Mets and the Padres, and then St. Louis and Philly. That the winner of that matchup will play Atlanta.
That is
so. There you have it. There's
your playoff bracket, your playoff picture, if you will. It is completely painted. It is ready to go. So, Brig, before we get moving on to too much, is there a matchup that you are absolutely in love with, that you're like, this is going to be the best series? And just as far as like the wild card weekend goes, is there anything that you're looking at, you're like, this is the one that I'm in love with, I cannot wait to watch?
I am in love with the bye week for the Yankees.
I bet you are.
Yeah, but since I can't really pick that as my my thing, Seattle Toronto is the one that's got my attention the most. Honestly, I really am interested to see how that series plays out. I think and we'll get into this in a minute with predictions and things like that, but I think it'll be interesting to see how home field goes, because I feel like, and we've commented on this in the past, that fans in Seattle and fans in Toronto, they move with each other, right? Like all the Canadians come down to Seattle, and we've seen Seattle fans go to Toronto. So not as much as like Yankees fans go to Toronto all the time, but
right. Well, Toronto fans take over T-Mobile Park when the Blue Jays are in town. Like it's a big deal.
Another home game
to the point, that like I think it was this year or last year they were selling on the concourse. They had Vlad Guerrero jerseys for sale.
Really?
Yeah.
In Seattle. Fabulous.
In Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's that big of a deal. So
yeah,
a lot of people were talking about like, go buy up all the tickets that you can to make it as much of a home game as possible. Give a little bit of advantage.
Yeah.
And when home field was kind of up in the air, a lot of people were like, don't let any Canadians buy your tickets because need to keep the Canadians out of the stadium.
Yeah, that's funny. I like that. What about you? Which one is the Seattle matchup? The one you're looking?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously that's the one that I'm paying the closest attention to. The other one that really intrigues me is San Diego, New York, the Padres and the Mets. I'm curious if the Padres have a second gear that they can turn on and come into the playoffs and really be somebody else than what we've seen. Because from what we've seen of them, I don't know that they can necessarily win 1, much less 2 against the Mets. But the Mets that we've seen lately, I don't know what we're going to get from them.
And Juan Soto has that other gear. We know about that.
Right.
So,
and Manny Machado does too. So it's interesting to see though if the Padres as a unit have that second gear.
Yeah, if they can infect.
That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, the rest of the lineup. That'll be interesting. Okay, start times. October 7th, Seattle plays Toronto, 4:07 p.m. That'll be on ESPN. I already said that the Padres will be at the Mets, 8 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. St. Louis plays Philadelphia in St. Louis, 2:07 p.m. October 7th, and then Tampa Bay plays Cleveland October 7th at noon Eastern. And there you go. That's the playoff picture for this weekend. Between now and the next time we get to chat at you, those are the games that we'll get.
So those are your games Friday. I mean, everything for Saturday is scheduled out too. You got the Rays and Guardians on Saturday at 12:07 p.m. Mariners and Blue Jays. Oh, sorry, that's on ESPN too. Mariners and Blue Jays at 4:07 on Saturday on ESPN. Padres and Mets at 7:37 on ESPN, and then the Phillies and Cards at 8:37 p.m. on ESPN 2. And then game 3, if necessary. Got the Mariners early. The Mariners will be early, 2:07 p.m.
2 o'clock, yeah.
The Mariners and Blue Jays, that's on ABC. And then 4:07, you got the Rays and the Guardians on ESPN. 7:37 p.m., you got the Padres and Mets on ESPN, and 8:37 p.m., Phillies and Cards on ESPN. Again, now, I thought this was funny, Rick, because I was looking at the schedule, and I was like, I didn't even think about it. Like, oh, shoot, what happens to these games if some of these series wrap up in 2, right? Like,
yeah,
do
right.
they just keep the same time on all the – no, they're going to change them.
Yeah,
So,
they
like,
change them.
I went through and I typed it all. I don't necessarily want to go through it just because there's so many different scenarios, because as I got going, it felt like it was going on forever.
It's a mess. Yeah.
If there's a game that you want – let's put it this way. If there's a game that you want to watch on Sunday, double check the time Saturday night, because if there are series that wrap up on Saturday, it could change the time of the game that you want to watch on Sunday. So,
yep, they'll shove it into a prime spot. Yep,
yeah,
that's exactly right.
I was going through it, and I was just like, oh my gosh, if there are 2 games, if there's 1 series that's ended, if there's 2 series that's ended, if there are 3 series that are ended, I was like, oh man, yeah, no, I'm not going to go through all that. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
A whole lot.
And then the ALDS, NLDS games will all begin on October 11th. Those are the dates that they'll begin. And they're all, in the years past, they've staggered them. The American League will start on this day, and the next day we'll start with the National League or whatever. It's not the case this year. This year it is straight up. Everybody's playing on the same days.
It's all on Tuesday, and we will have that for you Monday night, Tuesday morning, if you can't catch the live. But we'll be talking about that on the big show this next week.
Exactly. Yep.
Now, Brig, before we get into the playoffs, you talked about power rankings earlier. We need to share our version of power rankings. We've got our emoji tiers ready to roll.
We do. Do it.
So we did not collaborate on these we never collaborate on them. What am I trying to say? We never collaborate on anything if we're making lists, because we want it to be a surprise, I guess is the way you could say that.
It's more fun.
Yeah, and I'm going to stop
we get
rambling.
To yell at
and Brig,
each other.
We do. And Brig, I'm going to put the diamond up here, because we both agreed on the diamond, hands down. I don't think it was very hard, right?
Mm-mm.
Yankees,
not
Braves,
in that
Dodgers.
order, though.
Right, they're no particular order. These are tiers. They are not ordered. Yankees, Braves, Dodgers, and Astros. What was the hardest one to get into the diamond for you, Brig?
The Yankees. You?
Yeah.
That was the biggest heartburn, was deciding who gets that 4th slot. And I had to give it to the Yankees, but I was not confident.
Well, and my thing too with the Yankees was because we simplified it a little bit. We went diamond, ? Thumbs down. We didn't do thumbs up or poop or anything like that. We just did the 3. And my thing with the Yankees was we've seen who the Yankees can be this year, right?
Yeah.
We know who the Yankees can be. They're not necessarily that team right now. Maybe.
Right.
They could be, right? Get healthy. They could be that team again.
And when they're on, oh man, they are so well-rounded. They're just when all cylinders are firing, everything is so fluid. It's so smooth. It looks so good. But when they're off even a little bit, the struggle bus is the one driving them, and it is rough.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, I felt like the Yankees were definitely that 4th team, and mostly because I didn't feel like there was anybody else who belonged. Right?
No.
There was no other fringe up to the top. It was all those 3 and then down from there. So,
yep, I agree. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the question mark.
Into it.
Here's your question mark, Brig.
Yeah, this is my question mark. Blue Jays, Cleveland's baseball club, Cardinals, and the Mets. Those are my question mark teams. And I'll talk about when we get into matchups a little bit later, I'll tell you exactly why I feel this way. But ultimately, like you said, Brad, these teams, they belong here. We don't know what we're going to get out of New York sometimes, especially the Mets with their pitching right now. It's just a little shakier than it needs to be. The Cardinals are a question mark when it comes to matchups. Cleveland came out of nowhere anyway. And then Toronto, it's another thing. It's like, are they going to be angry today? Is that going to work for them? Are they going to be super calm and zen today? Is that what's going to work for them? We don't know. And I think, I don't know, I feel like they're being driven by more than just circumstance in Toronto right now.
Yeah, and I can see that. So I'm going to go into my question mark because I've got some of the same thoughts there. Mine is very similar. I've got the Blue Jays, Cardinals, Mets, but I have the Mariners there. And mostly for the Mariners for me is just because this is obviously a team I've watched the entire season and seeing the really high highs and the really low lows, and I don't know which team is going to show up in Toronto. Yes, the Mariners did take 5 out of 7 from the Blue Jays this season.
Yeah.
But that was with a lame duck manager, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But on the other hand, the Mariners weren't at full strength. So there's that thing
true.
too to go with it. So I don't know what you're going to get from the Mariners or the Blue Jays going into this series because the Blue Jays have a massive bullpen problem.
Yeah.
And you don't know when that's going to blow up because that seems like a powder keg. At any moment that could blow up and it could be a big problem for them. But I don't know if they're going to have a second gear like I talked about before. The Cardinals, old guys sometimes make me nervous in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because it gets cold.
Yeah, it gets cold.
And you're past game 162. So
yeah,
I don't know who I'm going to see with the Cardinals. And the Mets, I don't know what we're going to see because they blew a 10.5 game lead in their division. Like they could come in and they could run through the NL and end up in the World Series, or they could lay an absolute egg and get eliminated this weekend. I don't know what's going to happen with the Mets.
That's how I feel too.
They could very well met the bed.
Stop it. Okay.
All right, Brig. Show us your thumbs down tier.
These are teams I don't think are going to advance past the first series, actually. I think every one of these teams will be eliminated in their first series. Padres, Rays, Mariners, and Phillies. Just so happens that they're all playing in the wild card series, but that's because that's where they belong. Right. And I just think that, based on matchups, based on, strength and depth and, what their seasons have looked like and how close they, did or didn't make it to being here in the first place. Like, I don't know. I'm discounting every one of these teams. I think is what I'm saying.
And I feel like you have the right to do so because every one of these teams has shown that they could very well get eliminated this weekend. So I have the Padres, Rays, Phillies, and then I have the Guardians as my fourth team instead of the Mariners. Right. And part of the reason I chose the Guardians is because I feel like they lean a little bit too heavily on a bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be a problem when you don't have the offense to get you by, because the Rays have been like one of the best bullpens in the league for several years, right?
Yeah, it's very.
But
solid,
they had the offense to back it up, especially with Randy Arozarena being a different animal in the postseason. Talk about a next level, like a next gear. That guy goes like 2 gears up when it gets to be the postseason,
for sure.
So I honestly don't think the Guardians are going to beat the Rays this weekend, but I also have the Rays here because if the Rays are playing anybody else, I don't think they would get out of the wild card. I think they'll go play the Yankees and they could get swept, right?
Yeah,
because they have not been playing well lately. And the Phillies kind of stumbled their way into the playoffs. They have major bullpen issues, and the Padres, like I said, I don't know who's going to show up with the Padres, but they have not shown me that they're a competitive playoff team.
Right.
They're a good team. Good team.
Yeah.
But I have not seen that they're a competitive playoff team.
Like they belong here.
Right.
Welcome. We're excited for you. It's that's not it. It's that now we're at a new level. It's all your chips are down. Let's see what you got, Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
There's some pitching issues there that I didn't think would be there this year. And I think that's gonna be really ugly.
I think we're all a little surprised with San Diego. Both on the positive and the negative in different ways. Mm-hmm. But I feel the same way about Philadelphia. I think we're a little surprised there. We're obviously surprised with New York Mets, right? We're just so shocked. Yeah. And then the way the Yankees totally took a dive in August, like we're shocked about that. I dare say that this entire season has been filled with stuff that just doesn't make any sense. Especially Baltimore and Cleveland, and it's like, what's going on?
It's been so weird. It's been so well, and then like the Mariners, everybody was like, there's a lot of people picking them to win the division, but they were so far back for so long, and then it was like, oh my gosh, this is never going to happen.
Yeah.
And then, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, Brig. It's crazy. Okay, should we do our predictions? Should we get into predictions?
Well, no.
What?
Well, I want to say something.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that inflation prices continue to go up. I didn't know if you noticed, Brad. Gas prices have come down a little bit depending on where you live. Out here in South Carolina, I think I paid $3.29 today, which is maybe a couple of cents higher than it was yesterday. But
Must
where
be
you got?
nice.
What do you got?
$4.99.
Ooh, $4.99. Okay,
They were down to $4.29 a couple weeks ago too.
This illustrates my point. Baseball family, our prices have not gone up. Our shirt prices haven't gone up. Our hat prices haven't gone up. Nothing's gone up. And especially our tiers of support on Patreon. $1, $5, $10, and $15. They all come with their own swag bags and their own different perks. Each one of them brings you the unedited version of the podcast every week. Call it the Bullpen Cut. Lots of the breaks and the production meetings stuff and all the jokes and everything that we don't share widely with everybody. You can have that exclusive behind the scenes content by supporting us on Patreon. We have a lot of stuff we really want to get into and start doing, and this would give us a way to do that and get some of those ideas off the ground. But even if you don't support us on Patreon, we just love that you're here. So thank you for that. All right, Brad, let's start prediction time. Meaningless prediction time.
Meaningless predictions. It's so fun. I love it. It's gonna be such a good time.
Yeah, it's the best. All right, cool.
All right. Okay, you want me to go first since you went first with emoji tears?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Let's start in the National League.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I want to start in the National League just because I feel like we always start in the American League, and our team's in the American League, so we'll put that off just a little bit. Okay.
Fair.
St. Louis and Philadelphia. I have the Cardinals winning that series based solely off of experience. I know I talked about the old guys, but I think that the Cardinals are going to take that one.
I'm shocked, Brad. Actually, I'm not shocked. I have the same thing.
I figured you did.
Yeah.
All right. The New York.
I think,
Mets
and for me, it comes down to veterans.
Yeah.
And I also think St. Louis's defense is far superior, like way better.
Their defense is really good.
Yeah,
it's really
super good.
Okay, the New York Mets and the San Diego Padres. I have the New York Mets, just because I cannot, in good conscience, pick the Padres because of all the reasons that I've laid out several times already.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think that pitching is better, and their bats are better, and they're just better.
Agreed.
Even their inconsistencies are more consistent.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong there. Okay, let's go. Okay, so if we have, should we go into the American League or just go straight through the National League?
Just run through the National League, man.
Okay. All right. So then in the next round, I would have the St. Louis, not San Diego. I'd have the St. Louis Cardinals against the Atlanta Braves. So yeah. I would have to go with the Braves big time in that series.
Me too.
Like so much.
Yeah, and then, I'm picking the Braves.
And then I would have the
Mets comes down to
against. Oh, sorry.
It comes down to better bullpen for me, and especially if they get Spencer Strider back. If they can get Spencer Strider back, if that oblique injury is no longer a problem, and not only back on the bench, but a contributor, even if he comes in and is just like a low key opener or a middle relief guy, set up stuff. Don't care what you get from Spencer Strider. If he can be effective on the mound at all, you're going to be in trouble. He's just another piece. And let's be honest, this team, they won the World Series last year, and they're better this year than they were last year.
They are better this year, and it's a little scary. It's a little frightening.
It is.
But I feel like the Dodgers are better this year than they were last year too.
They are. I agree with that.
So
oddly enough, the difference maker is Frederick.
In both cases, I don't know. That's strange. But okay. So speaking of the Dodgers, got the Dodgers and the Mets. You know, I'm sitting here looking at my sheet, and I have the Dodgers circled, but something tells me I need to go with the Mets. I'm gonna go with the Mets. over the Dodgers. I don't know why.
Okay.
And I think it has a lot to do with, I think the Mets will be ready to go because they've been going, and the Dodgers, I think, are going to come out a little bit flat, and they're going to get in a hole, and the Mets are going to capitalize on it. I think that's what's going to happen.
Understood. I hear you. I disagree with you, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah. I want to know if you're willing to put a pie in the face on it.
On the Mets beating the Dodgers?
Yeah.
Yes. If the Mets and the Dodgers play, I will take a pie in the face if the Dodgers win.
Would you take a pie in the face if the Dodgers lose to anybody in their first opportunity? If they lose their first series in the DS?
No, because I would be calling it that they lost.
No, that's what I'm saying. I got mixed up. If the Dodgers win,
no, because I think if the Dodgers end up playing the Padres, I think they'll beat them.
Okay. Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, no.
But if the Dodgers and the Mets play and the Mets don't win, you'll take a pie in the face.
Right.
Because
I think a note of it right now.
Me too. Because I think the Mets are going to play the Dodgers and lose. And I think, honestly, it comes down to pitching matchups. I think the best pitching matchup, the best pitchers that New York has are Scherzer and DeGrom, and Scherzer has not, excuse me, no, it is Scherzer. Scherzer has not shown me what I want.
He hasn't been healthy all year.
I know.
Been in and out with injuries, and that's a little concerning.
Yeah, and neither has DeGrom. He just came back, and he's done really, really well. But I'm worried about Scherzer, and if you have, you can do a lot with two really good starters, but you have to have at least two really good starters. And I'm not, I want to be confident in the Mets because I've been backing that horse all year. It's kind of odd that you don't think they're going to do this. Is what a sweet twist of fate this is.
So, and here's the thing, Brig, is my guy. I feel like who's going to be kind of like the X factor in the pitching staff is going to be Chris Bassett. Bassett's
fabulous.
Is that he's going to come in and they're going to need him to lock down that Dodgers offense, and he's going to be able to do it. And it's going to be in like a 1-1 series or something like that, and they're going to need him to come in and he's going to do it.
So that's the Dodgers have the best pitching in the entire league, or all of Major League Baseball. They have the best pitching. They have a 2.8 ERA across the full starting rotation and the bullpen. That's nuts. And they're very fluid. They've made starters take bullpen stints, and they've used openers. So they're used to being fluid and coming to play under any circumstance. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the game calls for. The situation, they can meet it as a pitching staff.
Right. But here's my thing with it as well with the Mets. One of the problems with them, as far as like opponents go, is Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, Mark Canha. Mark Canha is silently like a great player.
Totally.
Big time.
And very quiet. Yeah.
Daniel Vogelbach, we don't know what playoff Daniel Vogelbach looks like.
Yeah, you're right. It's kind of exciting.
I'm not saying I'm expecting him to go out there and like crush homers and everything, but who knows with a guy like this? He's got a lot of potential, and maybe this is the stage where it all comes out like, oh my gosh, and everybody's like, we need Daniel Vogelbach for when we get in the playoffs, right?
Yeah,
because that's a thing that happens.
It is. Well, okay, so let me be super clear, baseball family. I want the Mets to beat the Dodgers. I really, really do. But if we're talking meaningless predictions, I don't think they will. So let me just make that very clear. The world would be the greatest place. What was I trying to say? The greatest thing in the world would be a Yankees-Mets World Series. Like that to me would be tops. It's not going to happen, but it would be fantastic for me.
I still feel like the best thing would be a Yankees-Dodgers World Series.
Next best thing, Brad. Get or whatever. It's almost up in the air. It doesn't matter, but it's so good. Like either way, okay.
The Subway Series. You want a Subway Series? Okay,
I do.
I get it. Okay, so then St. Louis, Atlanta. Who do you have?
Atlanta.
I've got Atlanta.
Yeah, all the reasons I said before, and the cold. It's a great reason. Oh man, that's really funny. Here's the thing. I think Atlanta plays production baseball better than just about anybody else. And like they can hit bombs, but when it gets cold, those balls don't carry as far. They just don't. And so if you can't if you can't get base hits and hit little bloopers and just produce and get on base, steal a base, etc., you're not gonna do anything. So, and that's why the American League is such a toss right now. But let's be honest, it's kind of scary.
Yeah. Okay, so then I have Atlanta and New York in the NLCS.
Okay.
Whoa. The Mets. Okay.
Whoa, that would be so good.
The Mets want the Braves like so bad after what happened last week.
And not only that, it's better. Yeah, go ahead.
They're gonna be so mad going into the NLCS that I don't think the Braves would be able to beat them. Because a furious Pete Alonso is going to be a dangerous Pete Alonso. A furious Max Scherzer is more dangerous than anything on earth.
Yeah, that dude's frightening. Well, and so is DeGrom. Because DeGrom, he is not a friendly person out there. He just is not.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the Mets over the Braves.
Okay. All right, so I have the NLCS matchup is Los Angeles versus Atlanta, and I have the Dodgers coming ahead and going to the World Series.
So no repeat. We don't have a repeat at all.
Nope. No, I don't. If Atlanta plays LA, I don't think they stand a chance. I think they might put up a little bit of a fight. I don't think it's good. They're going to roll over. But I think ultimately LA wins.
They're not going to roll over like they did. What was it, like a month ago?
Yeah.
They got swept and it wasn't pretty.
Yeah. It's not going to happen. Not if it goes to the NLCS. But I think that if we do get an Atlanta, LA, NLCS, then LA will come up. Los Angeles strikeout rate is one of the lowest. It's like the 10th or 11th lowest in baseball. And for a long time there, Atlanta's strikeout rate was the highest.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like there's precedent.
Think about this, Brig. We saw the Dodgers play back-to-back days, and granted, this was early back in the what was it, April? Yeah. Early in the season. We've seen this team just completely shut down.
Totally.
And just be absolutely not just phone it in, but just be shut down and be like, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say lights out, but that's the opposite direction. I guess lights on and lights on is still looking for their feet. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but not able to hit the ball.
Yeah, they can't. They don't even show up. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's true. I don't know. I mean, it can happen at any moment for any team, but it's. I guess what I'm saying is the Dodgers are not infallible.
They're not.
And we've seen it firsthand.
I agree.
So.
Yeah, I agree. I still think they're technically better than Atlanta.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing is I think that the way the Dodgers organization plays baseball is technical, right? Everything is do this. It feels like there's a system. Everything has its system, and it's just fluid, and it's like do it this way, and then this gear moves this way, and and there's not a lot of like, I don't know. It's just it's function over form. But in Atlanta, it's the opposite. Atlanta has so much fire. There's so much emotion. There's so much romance going on, like with the storylines and the players, and it's just different. There's just a different feel, and I think that's what happens. But it's hard to beat machinery. It just is hard.
Yeah.
And emotion doesn't beat machinery very often.
Yeah. You're right. It's true.
Anyway.
Okay, so you have the Dodgers in the World Series. I have the Mets. Let's head over to the American League. Let's start with the Rays and the Cleveland baseball team.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Rays. I have the Rays winning that one. I think experience, playoff experience, team composition, they're just a better team than Cleveland. Like when it comes down to it, the Rays are just better. And so I think that they're going to take that series.
I got the opposite. I think Cleveland's going to win. And I think a lot of it has to come down to momentum, but I think that their pitching is better. I think Cleveland's pitching just is better. And it's going to shut down the bats. We've seen Tampa Bay's bats get shut down before, and the whole system dies. Everything dies when Tampa Bay's bats get shut down, which is the way it goes. I know that's like, but it's like a tone that changes. It's more than just, wow, we can't win. It's everybody like starts hanging their head, not hypothetically, metaphor.
Right. No, I know what you mean. It's just, there's no energy and it's not coming back kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I do feel like the Rays have one thing going for them though, is like one thing they talk about a lot with the Mariners is chaos ball. That when things get crazy, the Mariners thrive. I feel like the Rays are the same way. That we've seen it in the last few years in the playoffs. Things get weird, and the Rays are the ones who always come out on top when that happens.
And I would apply the same logic to Cleveland's team this year. I think that's how they've succeeded so far. I think that's how they'll succeed in the future. And let's be honest, for me, having Terry Francona there is an unmatched resource.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's a good manager, good playoff manager. But man, I can't go against the Rays. I can't. And especially having seen the Guardians play in person, I was underwhelmed by them.
You did say that. But that was, how long ago was that?
It was August. It was the end of August.
Oh yeah, that's not
So it was about a month ago.
Are you willing to wager a pie in the face?
I am if you are.
I am, Brad. I love the pie in the face.
Okay. All right. Let's make a note. Let it be written that there's a pie in the face.
Yeah. Oh, there's pies all throughout the playoffs. There's only one October, Brad. And
that's right.
Eventually they're going to have to be pumpkin spice pies or something.
I don't know if I wouldn't be wasting anything. That's fine.
Find some bougie whipped cream or something. Okay, never mind. All right.
Mariners and Blue Jays. You know how I'm taking. Who do you have? You got the Blue Jays still?
I got the Blue Jays. Yeah, I got the Blue Jays.
Would you be willing to take a pie in the face for this one?
Yeah. Who are you?
Okay. Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna go a pie on this one too.
Baseball family, welcome to the pie episode.
No kidding.
Yeah. Well, okay,
so
hold on. A stipulation about these pies.
Okay. Stipulation. Okay.
They have to be at separate times. You can't just like I did that one where I just took a bunch of pies in the face all at once.
Yeah.
I think they should be separate instances.
Okay. I think we'll get to that. I think we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I think we'll sort out all the pies from the weekend on the Monday night show, on the big show on Monday.
Good idea. Okay.
I think is what we're
moving on.
Okay. So hold on. I want to talk about this here in a minute though, because I'm curious why. I am legitimately curious why you are like so high on the Blue Jays all of a sudden.
I'm not. It's the matchup.
What's the matchup? What about the matchup?
Home field advantage.
Home field advantage. Home field doesn't matter in baseball, break.
It does. I've decided. Let it be said.
We are not even we're 3 years removed from a World Series where the home team didn't win a game.
Yeah.
Have you forgotten?
No.
You're already saying home field matters.
No, I think Toronto has a better offense.
Okay. More consistent.
I think they have a better offense. I'd say. And they know their park better and all that plays as a benefit to the defense. That's what I mean about home field advantage. I don't think it has anything to do with the crowd. I think it's all the little nooks and crannies.
So did you know this, Brig? Did you know this? The Mariners have been one of the hottest offensive teams in the league since August. Mm-hmm. Nobody in the American League has hit more home runs since August 1st than the Seattle Mariners.
I believe you.
And I feel like
No
I
idea.
feel like indoors, because the roof is going to be closed if it's chilly,
It
the
will.
ball is going to fly. I feel like this series is going to be filled with home runs.
I do think that the Mariners team is built for the postseason.
Yeah.
But I also think that the Blue Jays have shed some of their inconsistencies and they're peaking a little bit right now.
They are peaking a little bit. They've played really well lately. They have. And the Mariners kind of stumbled in a little bit over the last couple weeks. They've kind of figured things out over the last week or so against the A's and the Tigers,
Yeah.
but that's the A's and the Tigers.
Agreed.
You know?
Yeah. But it's
So-
but momentum is momentum, right? It's
right. Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah. And people
I
will
don't
tell you the
know.
momentum doesn't exist, but I think it is, because I think momentum builds confidence, and that's really what matters.
Yep.
And my other thing with the series too is pitching, starting pitching, bullpen. The bullpen there's night and day.
Night
These
and day.
bullpens.
Yeah, I agree. But I do think so. Anyway, that'll be interesting. I've got Toronto moving on for sure.
Okay. All right. In the second round in the division series, the Rays, we have the Rays against, or I have the Rays against the Yankees.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Yankees on this one.
Okay. Why?
They're just a better team. Just top to bottom.
Even if they're off?
Even if they're off. I feel like the Rays give you a little bit of room for error this year. If the Yankees are off just enough, they still are that much better top to bottom than the Rays, that they can still beat them. That the Yankees pitching doesn't even have to be lights out.
Right.
Because the offense can be that good.
So I've got Cleveland.
Sorry, I was gonna say real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
I think we're getting a new Aaron Judge. The 62 thing is gone. That is completely wiped out, has nothing to do with anything going forward. So offensively, all he has to do is produce.
Yep.
And that's going to be a big deal.
Which he's very good at.
Yes, he is.
Even if it's just base on balls, which he's also very good at. He does not expand his zone. He does not chase. He just is. He's one of the most disciplined players at the plate right now, and it's very exciting to watch.
Speaking of that, so I did hear something the other day. They were talking about how Bonds when Bonds set the record, nobody's pitching to him, right? Yeah. That he only got like so many balls thrown in the zone, and it wasn't very many, but he was hitting. If they were thrown in the zone, he was hitting them out.
Yeah,
that's pretty much how Aaron Judge has been lately too.
Pretty close.
Not so much hitting him out, but if it's in the zone, he's hitting it and getting on base. Aaron Judge has turned into a next level hitter, I feel like, and it's more than just home runs.
It is.
So I think he's gonna set the tone for the rest of the team offensively, and it's gonna be really exciting to watch.
Yeah,
coming from a non-Yankees fan.
Yeah, no, they're arguably. Well, I'll get into that. So I've got Cleveland playing New York. I've got New York advancing beyond Cleveland. Pretty much every reason you listed for them beating the Rays, I've got for beating Cleveland. All of the reasons that the Yankees are better, but also all the reasons that like with the wiggle room Cleveland will provide them. Mm-hmm. It's just undeniable. You could be more fluid with your rotation and play a little bit with your depth and your bench, and it would be okay. Not that you can't shirk any of these games. I wouldn't fall asleep on them. But I think you have more open strategy. If you're playing in the ALCS, you're not going to have that opportunity.
Right. Yep. Okay, I have the Mariners and Astros in the ALDS, and I got to go Astros. They have the Mariners number. Like, that's all what it comes down to.
Yeah.
The Astros are one of the best teams. I'd say top 2, maybe 3, but top 2 teams in the league.
Yeah.
They're hardly anybody can match up against them, and I've got the Astros.
So I've got Astros playing the Blue Jays, and I've got the Astros advancing as well. They're almost unstoppable. 106 win season, but I think the Jays are going to beat them up a little bit. I think the matchups look really good. What?
Maybe go 6. Or sorry, not 6. It's a 5-game series. Go 4.
It might go 4. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
it'll be 3, but it's not going to
Yeah.
go 6.
Okay,
So-
go 6. As I was saying, I was like, wait, it's a 5-game
I know.
series. It's
But-
definitely not going to go 5. Let's put it that way.
I don't think it'll go 5, but
Yeah.
I think they'll wrap it up in 4. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a ton of information to base that on. I just think that's what's going to happen.
Well,
But
so
the
how about
Houston
this?
Astros bullpen's ERA is 2.8 right now. 2.80.
Yeah. So the Houston Astros bullpen is very good.
Very
Their
good.
starting pitching obviously is outstanding. You got Justin Verlander who's pitching out of his mind this year.
Yeah.
And Framber Valdez, that guy had like 100 quality starts this year.
Yeah.
So when he goes out there, like the opposing team is not scoring runs, is what that comes down to. They might be getting on base, but they're not scoring any runs. And the one thing I think that anybody is going to be able to beat the Astros with is the fact that they don't get on base a whole lot. They rely a lot on the home run.
Bro.
And so that, Brig, takes me to our next round in the American League Championship Series. The Yankees are going to beat the Astros this year.
They are.
For that reason.
And I'll tell you why. It's going to come down to production baseball, just exactly like you said. And it's going to come down to it's going to be the unknown players. It's going to be Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. It's going to be
Higgy's going to go yard
Trevino.
multiple times.
Yeah, exactly. Like it'll be like, what? Since when? Like that is why. That's why. It'll be the freaking diamond in the rough, right? That I'm telling you. It'll be Harrison Bader. And you're like, what? Who? Where did he come from?
He's
been on the team Harrison for 3 days. You know, that's
Harrison
what it'll
Bader's
be.
Going to be it's going to be postseason all-star this year. I'm calling it right now.
Bro, it's going to be and if Matt Carpenter can be healthy by then, he's just a special part of the team. We got to have him. DJ LeMahieu is back in the lineup. Even with his toe thing, he took 2 or 3 quality starts right in the last series in Texas. It's like, bro, it's all going to come together. It's all going to come together for the ALCS. It might not all be together at the DS, but by the time we get to the ALCS, it'll all be together. But we don't need it to be all together in the ALDS. But we need it to all of it has to be together for the ALCS. And that I could see going all the way 7. I could see that.
So here's one thing for you, Brig. This is like the big thing for me with this is that so the Astros don't give up very many home runs. The only team to give up more home runs as far as pitchers go than the Astros is the Giants. Give up fewer home runs.
Oh,
the Giants.
Okay.
The Giants only gave up 132. The Astros gave up 134. But the Yankees are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th down the list with 157. So they're not too far behind them. And I think most of that comes in that bad stretch last month that they had. Because for a while, they weren't giving up any and they were hitting all of them.
Well, yeah, and Michael King is not going to be part of the part of the pitching staff this time, and that's a huge problem because he's still injured. But and he was a major part of the success early on in the season. So I don't know what. See, in a perfect world, this would have all been done by now. None of these injuries would have happened. But no, I'm very excited, and I think we're good. So I have the Yankees playing the Dodgers in the World Series. And you've got to play in the Mets.
And now I have the Yankees and the Mets. My paper says the Yankees and the Dodgers, but I have the Yankees and the Mets.
Yeah.
I'm not very happy about it, but this is what I have, and I have the Yankees winning the World Series this year.
Me too.
And you are just going to be thrilled.
Bro.
And unbearable.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, you right.
That's how it's gonna be.
Oh man,
And
you know
that's
who's
fine, and I will welcome it. I will give you I'll give you a predetermined window where you can just be absolutely unbearable, Brig. I might even give you a full episode just to gloat, and then
just
I'll
to
delete
whip
it so
out my
nobody
gilded
has to listen.
soapbox? You won't publish it or anything. You just keep it to yourself.
Yeah. It'll be the lost episode. Just tuck it away so nobody has to listen to it.
You can get it on Patreon.
Exactly. We have one of those, by the way. Anyway.
Oh man, I'm gonna commission a soapbox, and it will be gilded and pinstriped and everything, just so I can keep saying that with some moral authority.
You should.
My gilded soapbox. Oh man, that's funny.
Fantastic. Very good. All right. Well, baseball family, let us know what you think about our predictions. If we were way off, in fact, send us your predictions. Send them to us.
We want to know.
Through the mailbag on baseballtogether.com. Like I said, I always say there's a link up in the navigation top bar up there. You can get there, or you can just leave them in the comments on YouTube. That's a great place for you to do, and we will see them. We had a video that got a bunch of comments on it this last week, and I've been going through reading them, and it's pretty fun to see what people had to say about the videos.
Yeah.
So just leave it in the comments. We'll see it, and we'll probably respond to them. Let you know if you're way off or if we agree in some way, shape, or form.
Listen, there's an argument. The cool thing about the playoffs is there's an argument to be made for every single team going through.
I mean, everybody's there.
Exactly.
There
and
should be an argument.
depending on, so the injury is the X factor, right? We don't know.
Right.
And some guys get the yips in the playoffs for no reason. There's tons of stuff that could happen. There's all this unknown. That's why it's fun. That's why it's meaningless too, for us to do all these predictions, but we like it. And we hope you will join us on that. Also, don't forget to jump on the shop, baseball family, because Christmas is coming up and birthdays happen pretty much all year long. If I'm getting my math right, birthdays happen all year long. So you can always jump on the shop at 9plusus.com. It's NINEPLUS, US.com, 9plusus.com. You can get sweet baseball together t-shirts, and we got some hats and stuff, and it's awesome. So jump on there and get yourself something nice.
It's super cool. And I haven't talked about this. We haven't talked about this for a little while, but don't forget about ChinookSeedery.com. Head over to ChinookSeedery.com and get the best seeds ever. I am in love these days with the Smokehouse Barbecue. It is, I can't get enough of it. I've had to slow down so that I don't run out, because there it is, because I don't want to run out. So I'm kind of like rationing myself with it. But when you get there, make sure you use code BTPOD to save 10% on your order and support the podcast while supporting your mouth. Baseball family, the wild card series are here. We will be watching them. We're very excited, and we will catch you next week to wrap things up.